Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. My name is Lindsay, and this is Life with Lindsay. Today, we have a WIP Chat. If you do not know what a WIP Chat is, that is when I work on my current WIP, WIP, which is work in progress. You can pull out whatever it is that you are working on and work alongside with me. It can be a craft project. It can be a household project. It could be while you're doing chores at home. It can be while you're at work, while you're driving to work, while you're pretending not to work. If you want to feel like you're just hanging out with somebody, there's no right way or wrong way to WIP Chat. I'm very excited that you guys are all here. If you can hear it in my voice, I am still a little under the weather. You guys, this is such a satisfying feeling. This is the last section of my canvas. Ooh, that sheet's got some static. I don't know why I'm yelling that. Anyway, I'm going to do my best to hang in there the whole hour here. If I don't, I don't. If I do. Great, you know. It also depends on how much I get done, you know. I'm looking at this and I'm like, there's definitely more than an hour's worth of stuff. But if you are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Lindsay and I do mainly diamond painting content. I also do some other crafting related content, although it has been a while. But I would love for you to like, subscribe, hit the bell, hop aboard the Hot Mess Express. Let's all be friends. If you've been here before, hi, welcome. Thanks for coming back. So if you guys, I know we have a couple new faces here. I participated in the Autumn Craft-A-Thon over the weekend. I believe I can link my live. So if I can, I'll put that up in the eye for you guys. But that was a super fun opportunity. Thank you to everybody who put it together and who participated to craft for charity. I was able to raise what I consider to be a substantial amount of money for coping with Laryngomalacia. If you guys are new here and you have no idea what I'm talking about and you haven't watched that live, or you came to me from that live, I will link up in the eye. It's a video about my daughter's situation. It's called B's Story. I'll link that up there. If you are not interested in any of the medical stuff, I totally understand. No hard feelings at all. But that does explain a little bit about what our lives have been like as airway parents and subsequently where you can tell that this is something very near and dear to us. So, without further ado, let's talk about our week. I hope that you guys are all doing well. For everyone who has reached out to me, I am doing much better. I'm not 100% better, but I am like better enough to be out and about in the wild again. If you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, if you can hear it in my voice, my daughter passed along what I like to call the back to school sickies to mommy. My husband is one of those people, he very rarely gets taken out when she's sick, and knock on wood, he's okay, and he, you know, stays that way, let's hope. But, is that the right amount of drills? It is insane to me. I don't know if you guys can tell because you're just watching me diamond paint, but between the ring light and the light from my camera, the AB drills, like there's some over here. Look at that. Look at that sparkle when I just like move my finger across it. It's actually kind of like blinding me to work on. And I just now realized that part of this is totally out of frame, but it is what it is. I'm going to make it work. But I am very excited. And I think I asked on Instagram, or maybe I asked here. I think I did ask here. It seems like a lot of you, even though this canvas has been discontinued, would still like a post review on it. So as soon as that is completed, which I'm hoping to finish this whole thing today, but we shall see. I will film a post review. For everybody who's been super patient, you know, I tried to get back into a good routine, but going live, oh my god, these drills are just slipping and sliding over here today. Going live while being sick and then trying to accommodate that, like to film yesterday, did not go my way. I'm actually filming this on the day that my WIP Chats usually go live. If you're unfamiliar, I don't do anything on a schedule here. I have a tiny human and I just kind of work around like her world, and I record as much as I can during her sleeping hours. However, my kid has just recently started preschool, so I am, fun fact, actually recording this while she's at school. Now, I have as soon as I'm done recording this, like I have to like literally just like pack my stuff up and just leave to go pick her up. So that'll be fun. But let me tell you guys about my week. I think I told you about Sunday. So I'm not really going to talk about that, but we had all these big plans for this week. We were going to have, a sensory bin play date. We were going to go to the pumpkin patch for the first time this season. We wanted to go Halloween hunting again. And everything just kind of took a hard turn. If you guys see me keep like pressing on the drills, I'm having difficulty, that like some of them aren't placing themselves all the way down, and it's mainly because of the actual drills themselves. But I'm noticing that if I try to like wiggle, I'll have like a whole like group of them pop up, which you've seen me now have that happen twice if you're actually watching, which shout out to you, the people who actually watch the WIP Chats. I mean, you guys do whatever it is that you want to do. Like I always say, there's no right or wrong way to WIP Chat. I know when I watch other people's WIP Chats, I usually just listen and I work alongside with them. And then I'll look up from time to time, but I know that there are people that have said like, oh, they actually enjoy watching. I guess they like seeing the progress and the process of it. But shout out to you guys. You're the real MVPs. So anyway, Monday we went to school, and I now realize I spelled the word school wrong on my paper, so maybe I should be going back to school. I'm not going to do that. I did do that as an adult. I went back, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I went back to school in my 30s and got my degree finally. And then this is a total tangent, side note story. And then I enrolled to get my bachelor's at a college that's about an hour away. And, you know, I wasn't super thrilled with the commute, but I was like, if we can arrange my days so that I have more time on campus and not just like a class here and then I come back the next day for 2 classes, I don't know. And then after years of trying to conceive, I found out I was pregnant, and my daughter would have been born during the first week. I mean, the finals week. And I was like, well, how am I going to do this? Which, shout out to all of the parents who have gotten degrees or who go to school while pregnant, while parents of a small child. Like, I don't know how you do it. I am totally in awe. And I was like, okay, well, we can make it work. We can try to figure something out. And then I got dropped from the social work 101 courses, which I had to have. Like, those are the only ones I had to have that first semester, because I had pretty much gotten all of my other prerequisites out of the way and all of my other electives out of the way, because I came in with an associate's degree. So I had most of that stuff done, but I couldn't take second level social work courses without taking the 101. And I got dropped from it, and they had no room for me. And I think that was just the universe's way of saying that, like, this isn't the time. So, yeah, I was going to go to school to be a social worker. Fun little tidbit. Originally, I'd gone to school to be a teacher. And things changed, and I decided that wasn't the place for me. And then I went back to school again and got a certificate in multimedia and communications, and I worked in radio for it was over a decade. I can't remember how many years I was in radio, which I every once in a while, like, I'll say that in conversation and realize, like, I don't talk about that ever on my channel, or hardly ever on my channel. And the amount of people that are like, wait, you worked in radio, and are quite surprised by it. So surprise. And during the pandemic, my former coworkers actually reached out to me. I was like, do you want to come back? And I was like, hell no, I don't want to come back. Like, I loved what I did, but I did something that was completely able to be done 100% on a computer remotely, and they wouldn't allow me to do that when I moved. I currently live about an hour and a half away from the office that I was working in, and in those moments, like before the pandemic, they didn't want to allow me to work out of the location closest to me, or my own home. And then the pandemic happened, and they're like, everybody's going to work from home. And I'm like, oh, so now that it's convenient for the employers, you guys want to do that. Cool. So when they were like, do you want to come back and work from home? No, I don't want to come back and work from home. Also, I don't have a computer. Anyway, so we went to school Monday. Excuse me. I'm going to try to keep my coughing and clearing my throat to a minimum, but, you know, I'm doing the best I can here with what I've got. We took her to school, and then usually after we drop her off, my husband and I grab something from Dunkin' Donuts, which is like down the street from her school, and do a couple errands. So we did a post office run. We ran to CVS. I don't even remember what we went to CVS to look for. All I know is just remembering walking around and going, this is amazing. I can actually go and look at like makeup and skincare and like things that I can't do when Briar's around because she has no interest in it and, you know, quickly wants to move on to the next, like any 4-year-old would want to do. I can't, you know, blame her for it. But I said to my husband, you know, I didn't realize how much I missed just being able to aimlessly wander around somewhere. And it's not like CVS was like the hot spot of fun and entertainment, but where did that drill just go to? But you know, it's little things like that. Like if you are somebody who has children but you work outside of the home, you probably have those moments where you can go to the supermarket or go run an errand or whatever without your kid because you're already out of the house or you're on your way home and things like that. And like I know I could say to Brian, hey, I'm gonna run and do X, Y, and Z, and you can hang out with the kiddo. But it's not the same thing as like just knowing that we can like wander around aimlessly. Do you know what I mean? Maybe you don't. I don't know. Those are one of those. Can't get my words out. That is one of those weird things that like nobody tells you. You know, you all hear the same things when you're gonna have a child. Like, oh, you're gonna have less sleep, and you know those kinds of things people tell you. I am on my last bag of 310. Let's put some right into the tainer. And then the rest will go into my storage. And like, yes, there are a lot of people who deal with like the loss of independence and identity and things like that. And this is not to scare anyone, by the way. I'm just sharing my thoughts here. But like, it's little things like this that you don't realize that, you know, stop telling people like, do self-care, take a shower. Like, showers should be able to be had on a daily basis. But nobody tells you that once you become a parent, the ability to take a shower on a regular basis just goes out the window. And it doesn't matter how old your kid is. Like, for me to take a shower, I have to wake up significantly earlier than our day starts so that I can take a shower and it's not interfering with the child who is waking up at the butt crack of dawn to do anything and everything. Shout out to you, child, today for waking up before 7 a.m. Or, you know, I have to make sure that my husband is available if I want to just, like, every once in a while I'll just be like, you know, I'm just going to go take one in the middle of the day. But I didn't realize that, like, showering was going to be one of those things that even after a couple years, it's still much, much harder to do than I anticipated. Or that, you know, just, like, simple pleasures go away. Like, I can't tell you how many of my other mom friends are like, oh my God, I got to go to the market today without my kids. Like, that used to be something I dread, like, going to the market. Now I'd be like, oh, I can go and just check out produce and not have to worry about anything out. Like, anyway, oh my God, I am like 15 minutes into this WIP Chat and I've told you nothing about our week. So we did school, post office, CVS. We went and picked her up from school and we had lunch at a local restaurant that my husband and I had enjoyed, but we hadn't been there since before the pandemic. And I always got nervous because they don't have it listed on their website, and I could have sworn they had a kids menu. And this is one of those restaurants that, like, I would not pay the adult price of the same dish, like mac and cheese, for example. Which, oddly enough, the mac and cheese at a lot of restaurants that they give you is not the same mac and cheese that they use for the adult meals. It's literally like Kraft Mac, and I'm like, but you have regular mac and cheese on your menu. I don't get that. But they did have a kids menu. And at the least, I said to my husband, look, if they don't have a kids menu, we know we can get her a California roll because she's super into them right now. And that's, you know, a good amount of food for her and affordable-ish. But they did have a kids menu, and it was a really good meal. I was surprised, and I don't mean this in like a judgmental way, but I was surprised at how many people were like at the bar at like 12 o'clock. A lot of them were in like work clothes too, so I don't know if they were on a lunch from work or they were just like, I'm over this corporate day, America. I'm going to sit at the bar and, you know. But it was a nice restaurant. It was a nice meal. I really enjoyed it. And then afterwards, we have... So my daughter skates at a rink that's like a half hour away. And we know that there is a rink literally on the same block as her preschool. We have never been to that rink, and we've been told like their Learn to Skate program could have like 75 to 100 kids. And I was like, I don't want to deal with that many kids. That's a lot of kids, you know? Oh, I'm hearing my husband walk in.
Oh, hello.
Say hi. Oh. He sure did. If you guys didn't know, my husband is the DaddaMonster, and he's pretty dope. All of his information is listed down below. If you have no idea who he is, you should. A lot of the diamond painters follow him. And it's funny, every once in a while he'll get a diamond painter that doesn't follow me. And he's like, how did they find me? I don't know. You're kind of a big deal. He knows that, though. Anyway, so we had discussed going to public skate. God damn. I don't know if you guys are seeing the amount of drills that are just like popping off my canvas right now, but I am not enjoying that. Not at all. Anyway, so we had decided we're going to take her to public skate at that rink. I have to look into it. Now there is an after school program where my kid stays for an extra, I'm not sure how long.
Like an hour and a half.
Yeah. But I think potentially it's one of those things that we could send her to school with her lunchbox, have her stay a little bit extra afterwards, and then pick her up and go to the rink. We're going to offer it to her again today if she wants to go skating. So we'll see. But she spent, excuse me, the whole time out on the ice. I was super impressed. It started out, it was her and an older gentleman. If I had to guess, that guy was probably in his 50s.
Yeah, I guess.
And he was wearing hockey skates and just a jacket, and he was just skating around, and he was telling us, he's like, she doesn't have to skate the perimeter. She can skate anywhere. You know, there's nobody else here. I'll keep an eye out for her. This way she can work on both of her edges. And I was like, oh, thank you very much. Or my husband said that, because at that point I was not right there. But they have like a spectator area that's up a flight of stairs, and I was up there, and Briar was out on the ice. Like, this is literally within the first 2 minutes of being out there, and she fell, and, you know, we're both telling her, get up, baby girl, get up, because she'll tell you the number one rule is if you fall, you get back up and try again. And obviously we try to convey that into like, that's the rule about life. But she fell, and she was taking a ridiculously long time to get up, and so my husband was like, all right, I'm gonna go down. And he did, and she's like, Daddy, I hurt myself. And he's like, where did you hurt yourself? She's like, I fell on my face. And he's like, how do you just fall on your face? And also, like, this kid has fallen a million times. So super long story short, turns out she in fact did fall on her face. And we only realized much later, because I could see the blood seeping through her mask, that she actually busted her lip a little bit. It was fine. It was sore for like a day.
Yeah, when she told me she fell on her face and she pulled her mask down, I didn't see anything.
Because just the way, it was the way her tooth had hit her lip. And she was fine, you guys. She was fine. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, she was hurt and we missed it. No, she was fine. I think she more like upset herself that she had fallen for the one person that was in there, you know. But then I'm going to assume they were both teenagers. I would say like high school age, but maybe like younger high school kids. And one you could tell has been training for many, many years. And the other, I guess, is just like a friend. Or, you know, they were wearing rental skates. And, oh my God. You guys, these drills today are driving me. I lost it. It's already gone. But when the one girl came out and she was starting to do like her spins and all these things, Briar just started following her, and she would just stop and watch. And I was like, well, here we go. You guys, I have never seen my kid skate so hard in her life. Like, she was out there like she had something to prove. We've had a conversation with her about when you're at your private or your group lessons, we need to see you putting in the effort. Because a lot of times she just kind of half-asses it, and she, for some reason, and we don't know why, she paces with the slowest kid in the group. And then she gets upset that she's not faster. And I'm like, you are faster, you have to put in that effort. So she had been asking for more ice time, and I said, okay, let's make it work. Let's make it happen. And so it was really fantastic to watch her skate independently like that. And of course she's like, Mommy, when are you coming out with me? And I'm like, Mommy hasn't been on ice skates in 20 years. And I don't know if you know this about me. I don't know why my voice just got real whispery, but like, I don't know if you know this about me, Briar, but like, Mommy hurts herself just sitting on the couch. And she's like, what? And I'm like, have you never noticed how Mommy will just be sitting there and randomly be like, my back? And she's like, yeah? Well, that's why Mommy doesn't want to put on a pair of ice skates right now. Mommy will get on a pair of ice skates with her, just not right now. I want to feel a little bit more like if I fall, I'm not going to break my neck. And I'm kind of still in that if I fall, I definitely feel like I'm going to break my neck phase. You know, I also don't know, like, if I can comfortably put on my own skates. So there's that. But anyway, she did a great job. She was super proud of herself. And we thought this would be a great way for us to spend some time on Mondays after school. She only goes to school for like less than 3 hours. It's like 2.5 hours and then drop off and pick up. But then Tuesday, which is an off day of school for us, she had her actual skating lesson. So we get to the rink, and I'm like, is this the right week? And my husband's like, yeah, this is when the new session starts. And I'm like, there's nobody here. So we pull in, and I'm talking to, so there are 2 coaches that do the TOTS class. One is like the skating coach, the figure skating coach. This is who you're paying to have your kid learn to skate with. And the other is an amazing volunteer who teaches all the little ones, like how to stand up and how to fall safely and just get them comfortable enough on their skates that they're safe on the ice. And turns out there were only 2 kids registered for this TOTS group this time. And I was like, oh, really? Which I'm fine with. That gives Briar obviously more attention if there's only 2 of them than if there's 12 of them. And we're sitting there, we're talking to her head coach, and she's like, all right, well, I guess we're going to get out on the ice. The other kid that was registered never showed up. Not to say that they won't be there this week or the following week, but I basically paid a group lesson price to have an hour-long private lesson. So that worked out really well in our favor. And Briar learned like 2 new skills. And she's like, we tried doing, I forget what she said they tried doing. She goes, it's a little bit above where her level, but she definitely put in the effort and tried. And I'm like, well, that's all that counts to me. Like, I don't need my kid to be nailing all of the skills. I just want her to try. And they're still very basic skills. My kid's, even though she's been skating for a year, she's 4 and is in a learn to skate program for little kids. So I love a Hannah Lynn. Did you guys pick up the Hannah Lynn with the spider? It's like this is the Halloween one. It's very similar in size. I think it's called Vixen. She's in my cart, which should be no surprise, but So we did that, and then we went to the real Taco Bell for lunch afterwards, which I don't know what this kid's deal is with continuing to ask us to go to the real Taco Bell and then ordering, like, a hot dog. I'm like, why are we going to a Mexican restaurant for you to get a hot dog? And then subsequently not really eating it anyway. Which, total side note, anybody else whose kid is in, like, preschool or daycare, do your kids come home with snacks? So they provide snacks for the kids. The class parent of the week brings in snacks for all the kids. And then the kids eat the snacks. But my kid keeps bringing whatever she doesn't finish home. Which I find odd. But also, like, the first day she came home from school, there were literally 2 goldfish in a Ziploc bag. Or 3 goldfish. And I was like, what was the point of that? What was the point of bringing home 3 goldfish? You know? And this past week, a teacher must have helped her because the bag was taped shut of the snack that she had. And I'm like, okay. So when we go pick her up, if I remember, I'm just going to grab them and hand them to her in the car and be like, here you go. Here's your snack. But yeah. So after we went to the real Taco Bell, we came home. And then later that afternoon, we had decided we were going to do a couple more things. So, my daughter is super into Halloween. Totally my fault. I totally love every single minute of it. We've been to Spirit Halloween. I'm not even sure how many times now. We've been to Home Goods. We've been to other craft stores. We just went to Target yesterday. We just like to go look at different Halloween decorations and things like that. And my daughter had expressed interest in getting a wreath for the door. And I said, okay, do you want like a fall kind of wreath, or do you want something that's specific to Halloween? And she thought about it back and forth. And then I said, well, why don't we head back to Home Goods and we can look, because that's where we had found the ones we liked the first time. I'm kind of regretful that we didn't pick one up the first time we were there because they had a better selection. It feels like they're not getting more to their Halloween stuff, which could be very accurate, but they keep shifting it all over the store, so it seems like there's more. Bless you. But we ended up picking up a wreath. She really, really liked it. I think it has pumpkins and apples. I can't even remember what's on it, but it's fall. It encompasses fall and Halloween, but it's not like spooky Halloween stuff at all. So, she really likes the concept of a wreath, a decorative wreath. Like, obviously not a Christmas wreath because we don't celebrate Christmas. But I was like, we can get like cool, fun ones for like the seasons. We can get like a spring themed one, or, she's like, okay, that's cool. Like, she's really, I don't know what it is about a wreath that she just loves all of a sudden, but hey girl, if that's your thing, that's your thing. I'll let it happen. But I actually have a friend who makes like some for a living. And I didn't even think about that. I should message her and see if she does like customs. Because Briar would. Freak out. I'm very mad at myself. I brought my water cup and I have like 4 sips of water, which is really great when you already have a dry throat. But anyway, so we went over to Home Goods and we picked up that, and we were like, okay, let's grab some dinner while we're already out. Sometimes when I hear our weeks, it sounds like all we do is go out to eat every single day, which is not true. I mean, we definitely eat out some weeks more often than others, but it just, sometimes in those situations when you have stuff to get done, by the time we get home and we start cooking dinner, it's already almost her bedtime. So, it just happens. Sorry, I didn't mean to just hit the camera again. Excuse me. So, we decided to go to Red Lobster for dinner, which was not far at all. We had gone to Red Lobster on our trip back from New York, New Jersey, which, if I can find that WIP Chat, is the pop drop-off. I will link that one up in the eye for you guys. That was a fun little trip. But yeah, so we decided to go to Red Lobster, which is great. And then Briar was all excited. She wanted to look at the lobsters in the tank. And she had said, in the beginning of, like, before we ordered our meal or anything, Brian had said, okay, well, I'm going to go potty. Do you want to come potty with me? And she's like, well, can I see the lobsters? And he's like, yes. We both said, yes, if you go potty, you go with Daddy to the potty, then you can stop and look at the lobsters on your way back to the table. So, little miss is very conniving, and later during dinner, she freaked out and was like, I have to go potty, and I have to go potty now, and I was like, oh my god. So I, like, picked her up, literally, like, ran her to the bathroom, and then she's just sitting there, like, ho-hum, and I'm like, Briar, go potty, and she's like, I don't have to, and I'm like, what? She's like, can we go see the lobsters? I'm sorry, what, child? So she was like, well, if I go to the bathroom, not if I have to pee, but if I go into the bathroom, then Mommy and Daddy will take me to go see the lobsters again. And I was like, look, kid, you don't tell somebody that you have to pee so bad that you're going to pee yourself and then expect to be given a reward for not actually having to go potty. And we had a long conversation about why it's important not to lie about things like that. And she's like, okay, I'm sorry, Mommy. Can we go see the lobsters? And I was like, no, we cannot go see the lobsters. And then, of course, she's having this temper tantrum in the bathroom stall, which is super fun. Especially because there was definitely someone in the bathroom with us. But, yeah. We also had an incident, I didn't even talk about this, at the ice rink the day before. Briar's fascination with, like, wanting to be independent is great. You know, I want that from my child, to be an independent kid. But I also, you know, her safety is my number one goal. So she insisted on not having Mommy in the potty with her, and that she was going to lock the door by herself. And I said, okay, that's fine. And then I don't even remember what set her off. And then she's like, Mommy, I need your help. Mommy. And I was like, Briar, I can't help you. I'm on the other side of the door and you've locked the door and Mommy can't get in. And I'm sitting there shaking the door and banging on the door to show her that, like, I can't just reach and unlock the door. I said, bathrooms are made that way on purpose so that strangers can't come in. I said, I can't go under the door and I can't go over the door. You have to get off the potty and unlock it if you need Mommy in there. No, I need you to just come in. She's just, like, screaming, and I'm just like... Now, thankfully, my husband and I were the only people left in the ice rink at this time, so Brian just came into the bathroom to try to reiterate to her that, like, girlfriend, you locked the door. Mommy can't get in there. What do you need? What can we help you with? And when I tell you, this kid is so stubborn, she was like, no, I don't want to. I'm just like, all right, kid. I don't even remember what it was that set her off. But anyway, that was our Monday and our Tuesday. I was none too pleased with the whole I have to pee but don't actually have to pee shenanigans. And then, unfortunately, the person who was waiting tables in our area, not our waitress or waiter, kind of got screwed by 2 tables. And it was pretty unfortunate. That kid was busting his ass, and I'm sure he made $0 in tip. One table was ranting and raving because they brought in gift cards and basically expected him to know how much was on the gift card. And then when he ran it through, like, the gift card was for like $1. They were mad that they had to pay that much for dinner. And it's like, well, then you should have looked up your balance before you came in. It's not this kid's fault. You had $1.16 on your gift card. And this is a young kid. And then the table behind us miraculously had, a big table full of food, cocktails, left and right, like plate after plate after plate. And then, oh my God, all of a sudden he found a hair in his food and refused to pay for the meal and then took all the leftovers to go. I'm sorry, if you're going to not eat the food because you found a hair in it, which I'm not going to say he did or didn't find a hair, but it felt very planned out from, like, my perspective. I'm not going to be like, well, let's bag up everything that's still on the table and I'll eat that at home. No, I don't want to eat it. I don't want to eat anything if they, like, a hair has come across it. Like, no, thank you.
I told you called.
Yeah, a friend, and was like, oh yeah, I hope you're hungry. I got food. But that poor kid. Let's see. So Wednesday, we dropped the bean machine off at school. I had gotten a call from somebody at the IU, excuse me, telling me that they were filling in for the itinerant teacher. I don't know who they are. I've never met this person. I've never spoken to them. I'm not even sure if they said their name in the voicemail. It was so quick. But they told me that they were going to be coming into Briar's classroom. And again, got no information. I know nothing. And when we pick up our kid from school, like, I was like, did you have, like, another person in your class today? And she was like, no. She did. I took out the paperwork out of her backpack that had her, like, progress report. And she did have the head teacher. And I'm like, okay. I don't know anything about this woman. Oh, I may have to. I'm going to pause this real quick, get some more water. And I'm back. I didn't think I was going to last the next 20 whatever minutes with no water. You ever have that point when you have like a cold and your throat is just so dry, you just like start basically gagging on air? That's what was happening to me. Whew. So we dropped her off at school, and then we came home, and I said to my husband, do you mind if I run to Walmart to go and get a coffee maker? Excuse me. And he's like, no, not at all. Go ahead. If you guys didn't hear, my coffee maker out of like 10 years just crapped out. And I've been looking to upgrade my coffee maker anyway. I would like something that does hot and cold brew. I don't need anything super, super fancy, but I like the ability to use a K-Cup pod or grinds, depending on what I have. Sometimes I'm just too lazy, or, what?
Nothing.
Oh, my husband.
Grind. I said noise.
Oh. Sometimes I just, like, see a good flavor of, like, K-Cups, and I'm like, you know what? That makes my life easy. I literally just pop it in and go. So I'm at the Walmart, and I'm, walking up and down the little section. What am I snagging on? The little section that has all the coffee makers, and I'm like, okay, well, I can get this, like, super basic Keurig. It's not really what I'm looking for. And then I finally find this coffee bar. It definitely has more features than I need. But I was like, okay. And I texted my husband, who's a numbers guy. And he's like, yes, if you're going to use this for X amount of years, it's definitely financial. It's good. It's a good value. And I'm like, okay. So I find this. I think it's a Ninja coffee maker. I'm not 100% sure which one I ended up buying. It has a thing to froth your milk on the side. Which, do I froth my milk now? No. But would I if I had that ability? Possibly. I like the idea of being able to make, like, cold foam or, like, a latte at home and not have to pay the $7 from Starbucks or, like, the $4 or $5 from Dunkin' and just do it at home. And I am going back and forth because there's, I really like this one. And I was like, is it worth it to spend this much more to have the one that has the options for the K-Cups? And ultimately, I decided it was. So the tag underneath the coffee maker said $178. No, $179. And then it had a little thing, scan here for like a demo. And I pull out my phone, I scan the QR code, and it brings up like the Walmart website that is showing $198. Now, $19 may not seem like a big deal when you're making an almost $200 purchase, but that means I could buy the accessories for it, or I could buy a couple bags of coffee grinds. Or I could just use that other $19 for something that was more important. So I kind of accosted an employee that was putting together, I think, an online order. And I asked her, I said, excuse me, but this is showing up differently as the price that you have listed. And she's like, oh, let me call my floor manager. And I'm like, all right. So this woman comes out, and she strikes me as the kind of person who gets off on the fact that she has a little bit of power, but doesn't know how to use that power correctly. And so she's telling me, like, well, ma'am, it's not my fault that the tag is wrong. And I'm like, well, it certainly isn't my fault the tag is wrong. And I'm just going to preface the rest of the story by saying I became someone who I hated dealing with when I worked in retail. So if you work in retail and you're cringing at this story, like, I apologize, because I would have been super annoyed in that situation. But I also would have done something to make it better and not draw it out the way this woman was. So she's going back and forth with me, and she's like, well, ma'am, the tag on the floor says $198. And I go, let me ask you this. Who's sitting on the floor and looking at the floor when all of the demo units with the prices are at eye level? I go, I'm certainly not sitting on the floor pulling the boxes off the shelf and going, let me see the difference between this one and this one, when a couple feet above them, they're already laid out in demo models with, this is what this one does, this is what this one does. So she's going on and on. She's like, well, I can't imagine why anybody would, allow you to get it at that price. And I go, well, do you have a manager then? Because I'd like to speak to them. You guys, I could see the steam coming out of her ears. Like, she was like, no way. So this gentleman comes out, a very jolly looking man, and she starts talking, and I just said, oh, no. I don't need you to, I can explain myself. And I can see her just standing there, like, tapping her foot, like, face fuming, because she already knew the manager above her was going to say something different than she did. And literally, I explained the situation, and he's like, absolutely, I'll honor that price. I'll honor it right now. Let's go to checkout. And I'm like, huh, look at that. So when I get to checkout, they say, did you want to add the 3-year warranty plan for $20? Why, yes, I do. Remember how I just saved those $20? That paid for the warranty. And, I'm not usually that person that tries to, like, cause a scene in a store or a restaurant or anything like that. But, like, it's not the customer's fault that you guys have the wrong price tags out. Because when you scanned that price tag that said $178, it brought up the right coffee maker, which means that was an older price, and you guys have upped the prices now. But at the end of the day, Walmart can afford to lose $19. You know what I mean? Like, they're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And unfortunately, in case anyone's curious, I haven't had a chance to use my coffee maker yet. Because later that day, my kid got sick and then gave it to me. But I got the coffee maker. I got Briar a really cute, like, Halloween mini. That was like $5. I was looking to see if they had what Briar wanted to be for Halloween in the Halloween costume section, which I don't know if they have a very small selection or if it's already been torn apart. I feel like, and let me know how you guys feel about this, I feel like there are a lot more people excited for Halloween early this year than normal. I'm always excited for Halloween. I'm literally like, the first leaf that falls on the ground, I'm ready to go. Like, I am, why does it feel like there's a drill popping up here? I am always, like, I'm ready for Halloween in January. Like, I love Halloween. I'm wearing a Halloween shirt today that you guys probably can't really see. There's, like, skulls and a rainbow and a spider. My daughter's wearing the same one. It's from Naked Mangoes. I can link them down below. I am not a rep, although I feel like if she ever does a rep search, I should probably apply for it, because I have, like, probably most of the shirts that she's but they have adult shirts, they have kid stuff, infant stuff, teens, and they do ship outside of the US as well. I don't know how internationally they ship, but like Maria, my friend in Mexico, shout out to you, Maria, she has ordered from Naked Mangoes and gotten the tees. And I know she has shipped to Canada before too, so. But they're all screen printed. Anyway, I'm totally on tangent here. So, after all that, I picked her up. We went to Staples. My husband had some more boxes to get made. Thankfully, the two girls that know what they're doing were both working, and they were able to print them right there on the spot for him, which is great because last couple times it's been like, oh, just leave it and we'll get to it, and then somebody else screws it up. And then we decided to go to, it's a restaurant, it's technically in front of Hershey Park, but you don't need park admission to get to it, and it's called the Chocolatier. Now listen, it is not a place that you go to regularly. It is definitely touristy. It is definitely expensive. But people definitely go for, like, the experience and the ambiance. You know what I mean? Like, they have old, like, tilt-a-whirl tables, basically, where the tilt-a-whirl part is. And, like, old carousel horses on the bar. And it's very cool. It's very amusement park. It's very on point for amusement park decor. And because it's affiliated with Hershey, a lot of things have Hershey products in them. Like the hummus has, I think, Reese's, which seems weird to me. I haven't tried their hummus, but could be good. And like I got a salmon that was crusted with some candy bar. But if I didn't know it was crusted with the candy bar, I would have thought that was just like nuts. It was very good. I enjoyed it, but it was very expensive. The drinks were very expensive. Like mocktails, not even like a cock. I can't imagine. But you know those like crazy milkshake cups where they have like chocolate on them and like cookies and stuff like that? They have them and they're $18 for one milkshake. Like, woo. But after we came home from lunch, we noticed Briar seemed tired, and you know, every day it's well, I don't have to nap. I don't have to sleep. Like, girl, you say that, but your body's telling us something else. Well, I don't know how long it was afterwards, but she fell asleep, and to the point that, like, my husband and I had to wake her up, and when we woke her up, it was whining and crying, her nose was stuffed. My child is not a good patient when she's sick. Now, I don't expect her to be, like, an eloquent speaker, but I do hate the fact that she will literally wake up when she's sick and just start screaming at you like you have any clue in the world what's going on. And then you'll ask her, like, what doesn't feel good? I don't know. And, you know, we were like, okay, well, hopefully this runs its course because, you know, you've got school and all these other things. I know that the back-to-school sickies are a real thing, but, like, hot damn, we literally had 1 week of class and then my kid got sick. So Thursday was basically spent watching movies and Bluey and just vegging at home. Friday, I was like, you are not going to school, kiddo. Like, you sound like crap. You don't feel good, you know. We were just hoping that by Saturday she'd feel better because we had plans for Saturday and Sunday. Now, at this point, I am no longer feeling well. I'm like, great. I'm hoping that my husband gets to go completely unscathed by this. I know he said the other day, like, his throat was bothering him, but that seems to have gone away. For anyone who is curious, yes, I took a COVID test. Yes, it was negative. But Saturday we were supposed to have a sensory play date. My friend Jess owns a sensory bin company called OK Sensory Play. And she's got 2 little kids, a little girl who is Briar's age, and then a toddler boy. And she just started making sensory bins, and you know, she's really big into sensory play, and she sells sensory bins and Play-Doh kits and things like that can ship, and I'll link her down in the description if you guys are interested in picking up one of those. They make really fantastic gifts. But for the local families, she decided to offer a sensory play date where she sets up all the sensory bins. You bring your kid, and then you leave. I don't have to worry about the cleanup. I don't have to worry about, like, if it made a mess. I don't have to worry about, like, putting stuff away. And to me, that is, like, super ideal. And Briar was starting to do better, and I was like, okay, maybe we can do our sensory play date tomorrow. Daddy can just take you. And then Jess sent out an email that she wasn't feeling well, and to protect all the kids, she's going to just cancel that play date. And I was like, oh, bummer. But I totally understood because, you know, I would have done the same thing if I were in her case, in her shoes. But I was going to take Briar to the sensory play date, and then I was going to take her to the pumpkin patch. None of that happened. And then I wasn't, you know, I was a little bit bummed out because I really wanted to do it, obviously. But I know Briar was feeling better, and she kept saying, but I feel okay. And I'm like, you didn't do anything wrong, kid. Do you guys remember when I started my WIP Chat and I was like, there's no way I could finish this in an hour? And then I've literally just gotten, like, the black done. So I could not have done it in an hour. But anyway, so that was a little bit of a bummer. And Saturday, I did that live. So huge thank you to all of those who participated and who coordinated it. There is a playlist. I don't know if I can link the playlist in the eye. If I can, I'll try to link it up there. If not, I'll put it down in the description box. If you open up the playlist and you just start at the top and you hit play, it'll just autoplay you into the next person's videos. And it is basically 2 days worth of crafters. Not all of it was diamond painting. It was really meant as a way to showcase what other crafts people are into and what they enjoy. And not everybody chose to participate on the charity aspect of things, but I did. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, my husband and I always raise money and give back to Coping with Laryngomalacia. It is a 503c nonprofit based out of New Jersey. They help families worldwide. They offer support and care packages. And for just $25 US, they can send out and create an entire care package free of charge to families who qualify that have kids undergoing, there's a long list of tests and procedures, but mainly a supra, which is an airway surgery, sleep studies, gastric emptying studies, you know, I don't know if endoscopy is on that list, I can't remember, but a couple big procedures, and then a couple, you know, tests and things like that, and they all include hand knitted or crocheted hats and blankets. So if you are somebody who loves to knit or crochet and you'd be interested in donating, you could check out their website, and it has all the information of the size parameters, things like that. And we raised a total of $470, which blows my mind that we were able to raise that much in 1 hour. For everybody who donated, my husband and I did a donation to match it of $10 per person. So we ended up donating, between the two of us, my husband and I, we each donated $100. So that was $200, and you guys raised $270 in an hour, and I cannot begin to thank you guys enough to know how many families and lives that is going to touch and how many people that's going to change. You guys have no idea. Even a $5 donation, like how much that means. And so I am super, super honored that we got to be a part of it, and we got to continue to raise money, raise awareness, and give back. So if you were somebody who donated, I'm pretty sure I reached out to everybody personally to thank them. But thank you guys so, so very much. If you would like to help, you can donate. Like I said, you can donate a handmade hat or blanket. You can also, there is an Amazon wish list if that's something you would prefer. And that has items that will go into care packages, like chapstick and baby rattles and things like that that will get utilized by the families in the hospitals undergoing all of this. And when I tell you guys, like, I cannot thank you enough. Like, you have no idea. And I don't want to cry again, but you guys have no idea how much that means to not just my husband and I and to Coping, but to all of the families. And if you guys would like to know where your donation dollars go, if you follow Coping on Instagram, excuse me, their handle is just @copingwithlm. If you watch their stories, anytime they get care packages that are made and sent, they will say, you know, care package, they'll number them so that they can keep track of how many they do each year, because they do keep increasing year to year, which is fantastic. Let's say it'll say package 107, and it'll be going off to, you know, Iowa, and it'll say sponsored by Facebook fundraisers, or it'll be sponsored by, you know, small shop fundraiser, or whatever it is. Or if you make donations, it can say sponsored by, and it can include your name. When I tell you guys that amount of money is life-changing to a small, independent, nonprofit. I mean, all nonprofits are independent. Well, maybe they're not. I don't know. But I can tell you, because I personally know the woman who runs it, and I know how much every dollar means to her and to this group. It's definitely one of those nonprofits where nobody makes profit. Like, nobody gets paid for their work. Everything is all done on a volunteer basis. It truly, truly blows my mind to see the amount of generosity that we have in the crafting community. And I'm honored to be a part of it, and I'm honored to call so many of you guys my friends. And I think that's all I got for you guys. I'm just pulling out a couple colors here. I know it stresses some people out when they see like that much on a desk, but like, look, listen. It's gonna happen. But that's all I got for you guys. Pretty much last couple days have just spent being sick and or recovering in our house. I feel 1,000 times better. Again, thank you to everybody who's reached out. But I think that's it. So if you guys have made it all the way to the end, since we've been spending a lot of time talking about airway disorders and the fundraiser and coping with LM, please leave me some blue emoji. If you guys ever notice when I put up posts about coping with LM or anything Airway Day related, I always use the blue heart emoji, which is one of my favorite emojis anyway. Light blue is the Airway ribbon color. I know this might make my camera bounce. This is, don't mind how dirty it got, my Airway ribbon minder from Bella RJ Nicole. She was kind enough to do one in a light blue for me. Obviously, ribbons of the same color can be for multiple causes. So, I got this. I don't know why it looks so dirty, but just leave me a blue emoji of some sort, and that's it. That's all I got for you guys for this one. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more videos like this, or, you know, nothing like this at all, please make sure to give this video 2 thumbs up. One real life, one virtual. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Come join the Sparkle Squad, and while you're there, hit that notification bell.
Ding.
I do not operate on any sort of schedule. I operate on toddler standard time, and I record when my tiny human is sleeping or sleeping. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys!